What's up my loves, my name is Paige, this is Paige the Page, and today we're doing the book buying habit tag. This tag was originally created by Megan Olivier, and the video is now private, but I'll leave a link to her channel. But I was tagged by Ellie from Earl Grey Books, so I'll leave a link to her video as well. Comfy cup of tea to discuss some questions about my book buying habits and how I have my collection. Question number one is, where do you buy your books from? So for me, my partner Ash works in our local bookstore. He is the store manager, so I will go through him. I will also go through Amazon, which I know is not good, and I'm meaning to break up with Jeff. I just haven't got there yet because it is so cheap, and then making my wish list, I can keep an idea of that, and for me it's a lot more flexible than the Book Depository one. I also use Book Depository and Booktopia, and recently Cara has got me into Brotherhood Books and World of Books as well, which are like secondhand charity warehouses, and they're really good. Number two is, do you ever pre-order books? And if so, do you do this in store or online? Honestly, I am so bad at doing pre-orders. I think for me, I'm more of the instant gratification. I know I'm gonna get this. Although pre-orders would be a fantastic way to support authors in their journey and put the money down for it, get it out of the way, and then promptly forget that I'm gonna get it, and then have it rock up on my door when it's time, which would be an awesome feeling, but I just haven't developed my habits around that yet. So that's definitely something I'll look into in the new year, especially with doing anticipated releases videos. I'm sort of a little bit more in there, but I'm also being more selective about the books that I'm buying anyway, so we'll see how it goes. Number three is, on average, how many books do you buy a month? And honestly, I would have no idea. It can range from 2 to 50. Okay, so for me, I think a happy amount is under 10. So 6 to 10 would probably be like, this was a good month, I got a variety of different things, but at the same time I didn't go OTT. That's saying if I want to spend more money on books, or I have celebrations or things like that, and my book haul does go bigger, that's fine. If I'm going to use, like, to the Lifeline Book Fest, I've bought 50 books and paid $25. You know, so it depends on the circumstances, but mostly in a general month, I would buy maybe, let's go an average of 15 a month per year to equate in those excessive months. Number four is, do you use your local library? Fuck yes. I have got more into it since doing my placement there for my librarianship course. I'm definitely more focused in on the library and looking at getting the next books in series that I've read and things like that. They've definitely improved their range in the 2 years that I've been living where I am, so it's a lot more enjoyable, and when I go in, there are so many more different things that I'm like, yes I want that, yes I want that. And I also don't feel guilty if I don't like it, because I return it to the library and someone else gets to keep loving it. So yeah, I love my local library. They're so lovely there, and I have a blast just going in and chilling out. Number five is, if so, how many books can you or do you borrow at a time? So currently I have 12 books out, although I thought the cap was 10. I'm not sure how this has happened, but because I've recently decided to go on a poetry and graphic novel books beside my bed binge, I just have a pile of graphic novels and poetry, and I'm just working my way through them. So there's 8 there. Then I have the Lunar Along, I have those ones. So I have currently Cress and Fairest out, and then I have Hall of Smoke, which was an anticipated new release from February, and I just borrowed out My Hero Academia one for Ash to read for this month. So that's how I've got where I'm at. I don't know what the normal cap is, but I really range. Considering I have such an extensive book collection, I have a lot of that. Dear sweet Jesus, I don't have time to read my library books because I want to read through my shelves, but at the same time I also want to be supporting my library. So it's just finding that nice balance. So number 6 is, what is your opinion on library books? And obviously I love them. I think they're fantastic. I think libraries are a underutilized resource that aren't just about books. There are so many, it's an information services. Like, your library is not just about books, it's providing information in a variety of different contexts and for different situations, legal advice, and just information on how to do things, tech support if you need, depending on your library of course. Now the one that I'm at, they do offer a range of services, and I adore it. They're also combined with the local historians and their family history stuff, so they have genealogy stuff, which is amazing, and keeping resources of the local area. It's just marvelous. In terms of library books themselves, I love it. I love that, you know, I get to read something that someone has cherished over and over and over again, and that we get to circulate and support authors in such a fantastic way. Number 7 is, how do you feel about charity shop or secondhand book? Again, fucking love it. Immediate example would be these two here. Potentially these were all from Lifeline Book Fest, which is a massive book sale that happens in New South Wales in particular. They have it at Knox Grammar School, and it's fucking massive. It's like 3 to 4 levels of books, and it's great. And that's where a lot of my collection has come from. I think I'm starting to learn to be a lot more particular, and just because it's cheap doesn't mean I need to buy it, even if I'm vaguely interested in it. I'd rather get it out from the library when I am ready to read it, but at the same time I still love being able to support local charity shops because I think they're really good and the money is definitely well utilized. So it's not, I'll like have my moments where every weekend I'll be going to the op shops looking at new books and seeing what I can pick up. The only thing I massively want is these editions of Ship of Destiny, which I have not found, even though I found those two. So I'm like, come on, please. That's my goal. Number 8 is, do you keep your Red and TBR piled together on the same shelf? No. I'm a chaotic mess. For the most part, I keep them separate. There is some crossover though, and it doesn't bother me. For the large majority of my collection though, I say that it is my unread versus read shelves and bookcases. And then I get into the nitty-gritty of how that statement is actually correct. Number 9 is, do you plan to read all the books that you own? And hopefully that would be amazing. I have over 400 books and I can read about 120 books a year. So if I never read a library book and I stopped buying shit, then maybe we could get there. It is a dream to read my entire collection, but at the same time I'm not holding myself to it. And if I don't ever accomplish that, I'm not going to be mad that I haven't, but it would be nice if I could, and I try and actively work towards it by having my entire TBR listed. So number 10, what do you do with books that you own and you feel you will never read or felt you did not enjoy? So April of this year was when I finally cracked the shits with my collection and realized it just wasn't making me as happy as I wanted it to. I would see things on my shelves and go, oh fuck, I don't want to go near that. I have no interest in it. I hated that. And I'd kept it around because I had the notion that I think we all do at some point as readers, is that we have to own every book we've ever read. And once I got rid of that mindset and went, you know what, I only want to keep the stuff that I think I'm going to enjoy, that I want to give a chance, that I have read and loved and really enjoyed. And there are some that are very, yeah, that was okay. I haven't got rid of it yet because it didn't offend my sensibilities. But for the most part, I'm learning to donate them. I'm learning to get rid of them. I did blind date with the book, so technically I still have like an entire tub full of unhaul books from that unhaul video that I'm slowly wrapping and then posting on buy, sell, up and sell pages to move them out and have them that way, which I think is a really fun idea. I'm donating them to charity shops when they're open. It is also fantastic. My local library doesn't take donations usually. They have a quite big collection out the back already of donations, so it is in their policy that they have to accept it, but it's not really talked about and you just sort of don't. I'm learning, just move them on, it's fine. Number 11, have you ever donated books? Absolutely. I think it is the best way. Even when I wasn't a massive unhauler, I wasn't getting rid of books much. Even the 4 or 5 that I might get rid of every 2 years, they would be donated. So yes. Number 12, have you ever been on a book buying ban? Technically, it was very stressful. I lost a round of Twister. I have refused to lose another round of Twister and have driven myself insane to make sure that I got my books for Twister read within the time so I didn't have to go on another book buying ban. But I think for me personally, I would fall into a depressive spiral and just want to buy books because I love books. It's great. Being able to have them rock up on my doorstep is like a little present to myself. So my Amazon wishlist was my own worst nightmare, because I just go on there, see what would like the 4 or 5 cheapest things and then get those. So whilst it's not a ban, I gave Ash control of my password. He's changed it to whatever he has, and that has been an absolute godsend. I could work around the system. I could buy from Booktopia, I could buy from Book Depository, I could go onto the American Amazon that I still have set up so I can buy my friends gifts if need be, because fucking Amazon having it require you an account for every other fucking country. I could do that and just send it to myself. It's a possibility, but I never feel the urge to do it, and I don't know why, but just letting him have control, and I just go, hey, can you log me in so I can purchase some books if I so feel like it, or we talk about the ones that I want versus, you know, things that I might not be vibing. It's just been different, and whilst I'm not on a ban per se, I'm barred from using that account. So for me, I don't feel the desire to a lot of the time. When I was finishing off my masters and having cause to celebration, I definitely wanted to go and drop like $400, and we toned it back. But yeah, I think that's the biggest book buying ban that affects me, and it's totally for the best. And the final question, number 13, do you feel you have too many books? No, not unless I'm trying to move. So honestly, I love my collection. It makes me feel really, really happy. I'm very privileged in the fact that I can own this many books and that I have space for them, that I can continue to store them, and as my collection grows, I can continue to buy bookcases and just grow with it. I don't feel like I have to cap it. I am sitting at just under 400 or just over 400, I can't remember, around there, and that feels good. I feel like if I was to randomly receive 200 books, I would be very overwhelmed. Not mad, just overwhelmed. And then I would have to recalibrate like how I'm thinking about them, how I wanted to store them, and all of that good fun stuff. But I don't feel like I would ever have too many books unless it became a matter of spacing and a matter of they were just, you know, books that I knew I was never going to get to but weren't giving them up either. So I think doing my unhaul really helped to bring that number down to also contain books that I'm excited to get to eventually, which is, I think, a very prominent thing. I want to get to all these books eventually, and if I don't, that's fine, but I know that I want to read them all eventually. So that was the book buying habits tag, and yeah, I feel like I'm very lucky to have the situation that I am in, and that I can afford to just buy books really whenever I want. I can just appreciate that my life is really, really good, and that Ash and I are in a really good position to be able to be in a house so we can have a lot of bookshelves and it not feel cramped or claustrophobic. So yeah, I'm very fortunate, and I love my collection. I really don't want to change anything about it at the moment. I will occasionally just like randomly rejig my shelves because why not? But I'm really excited for everything that's here, and I think that's the most important thing about having a collection if you so desire one. If you don't want a book collection and just get Kindle or library or charity shop or however you want to purchase or acquire your books, is up to you. And I love acquiring them in all ways, shapes and forms, and I love having a representation of the fact that I am a reader in my house and getting to show that off to people. I find that one thing about having the house the way that it is people will come up and to visit and they will read. They mightn't have touched a book in 5 years, and then they come up and they're like, oh, I want to borrow this, I want to read this graphic novel while I'm here, oh, I want this one, and it's a really nice feeling. I gotta develop a better system for keeping track of where my books go though. Let me know in the comments, do you feel like you can ever have too many books? I feel like this is quite an interesting one because I've seen people on Twitter absolutely berate the shit out of people for having a massive book collection, and because they have 20 and that's it. And I don't agree with that, and I don't like seeing people get shitty towards others for their own life things. So yeah, do you have a personal limit that you feel you're comfortable with your collection? being. If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!